Okay, let me do a sound check. Hold on a second. I should be live, but I just want to make sure that I actually am live. Okay. All right, we are good to go. What's going on, everybody? Yeah, what's going on, everybody? Who 186 back again with another video. Hopefully, you guys are doing well. Hold on a second. Let me share this out. Yeah, let me share this out. So, yeah, man, I'm doing this video for two reasons. One, 2K. I just bought 2K24. It's installing right now and it's taking forever. So yeah. So I decided to do it, kill time, do it. And plus, I said that I was going to do this video, and so I decided to do it now, and I decided to do it live as well because you know, I have some stuff to talk about, and it's regarding CM Punk. And let me just share this on Twitter, and then we can get started. Now, for those of you who don't know, um, last Saturday, so we're pretty much approaching a week. A week ago today, just before AEW's two second pay per view in a row, All Out after they had All In at Wembley Stadium, biggest marquee moment in the history of the company. Um, and during the show, earlier on in the show, after his match with Hook, Jack Perry, for some people might know him as Jungle Boy, did a spot during his match where here's the thing. For those of you who haven't seen it, let's go back, right? So he came into the show. I think it was the second match on the pre-show, right? Right. And he came out in a luxury vehicle, and the vehicle was there as he and Hook were fighting. Um, he made a comment to the camera saying, "Real glass, cry me a river." Right now, for those of you who don't know, there was a report, probably a couple weeks ago, that came out that CM Punk and Jack Perry had a disagreement on the use of glass for a spot, right? Like I don't I that's just one of those things that came out, right? Now it was believed. I think at first it was reported as a argument, but then I think what it was actually just a simple disagreement, and then I think what it ended up being reported as was that it was a spot used to, I guess, take him off TV for a couple weeks or whatever. And apparently Punk was not a fan of it. It just is the type of, dirt sheet reporting that you expect, right? What to believe, yada yada yada. It was what it was, right? So that's where the comment from Jack Perry came from. He took the bump on the glass, and then the match continued. And then after the match, Hook won. Great moment for him. Is what it was, right? So as the pay per view is about to start, now mind you, CM Punk is in the opening match against Samoa Joe. As the pay per view is about to start, there's a report that is coming out. I think the first person I saw report this was Brian Alvarez, and then Sean Ross Sapp reported it, and Dave Meltzer reported it, corroborated that story. But it had come out that there was an altercation in the back between Jack Perry and CM Punk, right? Now there were tons of reports regarding, like I think the first report that I saw was that you know, that Perry approached Punk, and they had an altercation. You know, Perry. The first report that I saw was that Perry threw the first punch. You know, I guess obviously it didn't hit. It obviously no, like Perry threw the first punch at Punk. Punk dodged it, choked him out, whatever, or whatnot, right? So it to me it was believed that it was only just a minor altercation, right? Nothing major, just a minor altercation. So Punk comes out. He has a match with Samoa Joe, a very good match, and you know there was, and even though I don't think there, I don't know, you know, the whole pay per view in general was great, but for the second time since this man been in the company, there was an incident that he was involved in that overshadowed the event, right? Not as much as as what happened with All Out the year prior, right? Where he had the press conference, he buried the EVPs, and then reportedly got into a fight with those EVPs in the back, right? I don't think it overshadowed it to that degree, but it still overshadowed the event, right? And then you know, as the days went on, now you're hearing reports about, you know, oh, it was the person who confront who the person who was the aggressor was Punk, and then you read reports about how, you know, he swung the first punch at Perry, apparently choked him out. Then it was reported that he had some choice words for Tony Khan. Now, for those of you who don't know, Tony Khan, the head of the company, he's the head man. He's the big honcho. He's the main boss. Right. I'm sorry. Um. So give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. Okay, I'm back. My apologies. Um. So as the days go by, we're now hearing more and more about the situation, right? And you know, Punk had choice words for Tony Khan. Apparently, there was a report that came out that he lunged at him or and whatever, and Samoa Joe had to kind of calm him down and get him focused for the match. Now, here's the thing. Now, let me backtrack a little bit, right? So as you know, Dynamite goes by. We have a Dynamite, and I would probably say just before Collision. Now, mind you, they're in Chicago. They're in Chicago. They're in CM Punk's hometown, right? Same hometown in the state. Was it in the same arena where he debuted? I don't remember, but same hometown, same area where he debuted. For AEW, it was the same place where let's backtrack a little bit, even further than that. It was the place where he had, I would say, his arguably his most famous match against John Cena, right? It was the arena. It was the area where he came back to AEW, had that, you know, fantastic moment on Rampage. The place where he returned after the injury slash suspension, right? So yeah, so Chicago obviously is CM Punk territory, right? So collision is you know, Saturday, that the morning before Collision, AEW releases a statement saying that they fired CM Punk with cause, right? Which is important because I'm going to assume that there's going to be a court proceedings that will end up happening after this, right? Because this is not going to be the end of the story. At least I don't think it will be, right? So they fired him with cause, and you know, that was really it. And then Tony Khan, you know, made a pre-tape before the show. He even went to the live crowd and did it. And that's crazy because like I said, those fans and if you watch the video footage that was going around on Twitter, they booed the hell out of that man. They booed him, and you can understand it's CM Punk's hometown. I'm sure a lot of them came to the show. Well, I mean, look, they came to the show see AEW, but obviously a lot of those guys are huge Punk fans. So he went to the crowd and he pretty much said what he had to say. And at the end of the day, the thing with this is here's the thing when it comes to CM Punk and AEW, right? After All Out, after All Out, 2022, this was the likely outcome, no matter what happened, right? Now you're seeing reports that the Bucks, they were supposed to have a meeting, and it didn't. It didn't with Punk, and it didn't. And, it never happened. And then you have other reports saying that they wanted to meet with him. They would have met with him if there was no incidents and whatever. And at the end of the day, it is what it is. You can believe him, not believe him. At the end of the day, this was inevitable. This was going to happen. Because at the end of the day, you have a guy in CM Punk who doesn't trust his employers. Or he doesn't trust his coworkers. Right? He simply doesn't trust them. Right? So Collision is created where he came back from I think he came back from the suspension. The Collision was essentially created for Punk, right? So it was made for two reasons, right? One, obviously, TNT wanted a second show on TNT. The Dynamite's on TBS, Rampage is on TNT, and Rampage, truth be told, wasn't doing that well. So what they wanted a live TNT show. So they chose Saturday, 8 o'clock, 8 to 10, to do the show. And the collisions have been great. Like I like Collision a lot. And that show was essentially CM Punk's show. When he came back, he debuted on that show with FTR. And pretty much based on what you can tell, he was kind of like the head guy, him and Ace Steel, which, one of his best friends in the world, who, mind you, during the scrum, during the whole All Out stuff, it was reported that he bit Kenny Omega in the arm. And, obviously he got fired originally, but then he came back mainly because CM Punk wanted him there. And imagine you bite somebody at your job and you still get to keep your job because of your friend. That's great. That's crazy. That shows you in it, like, regardless of, and this is something I need to address to the CM Punk fans, right? And look, I get it. You guys like the guy. I don't have any dislike for CM Punk, right? I'm not gonna say I'm a huge fan of Punk, but I like his work. The stuff he did, obviously, with I mean, I would say every feud that he's been in AEW has been great. He came in, with with the Darby Allin stuff, which was great. The feud he had with Eddie Kingston, it was short, but it was excellent. And the match they had at that show was really good. And obviously the MJF stuff, which was excellent. I mean, everything he did up to that point was excellent. And people can call, and probably people are going to call me the CM Punk hater, but I can't hate on the man's work. The guy is still great. And that's what makes this situation all the more frustrating as a fan. But the thing is that he had everything at his disposal. He had the man's ear. He had Tony Khan. Not, I wouldn't say by the balls, but he had a supporter in Tony Khan, and he still let the pettiness, the whatever he's feeling, he let that overcome his judgment. And maybe he didn't want to work there anymore. Maybe after a couple weeks, he couldn't talk to the Bucks. He couldn't talk to Omega. Maybe he just didn't want to work there anymore. It is what it is, and that's fine. Like if you don't want to, I've always felt that, especially now as I get older, that if you don't want to work at a place that makes you unhappy, you don't have to. You don't have to. What the fuck? Oh, Christ. Anyway, I'm sorry. You don't have to. You don't have to work at a place. Just because you make money doesn't mean that you should sacrifice your happiness just to make money. I truly do believe that. And if he simply didn't want to work anymore, then that's fine. Like it's not, you know, have at it, man. But CM Punk fans act like he was did wrong, and that's not true at all. That's not true at all. He was not done. He was not done dirty by AEW. He was not done dirty by Tony Khan. Like in fact, I think Tony Khan gave him the world, gave him more than he can ask for, and he still decided to throw it all away. I mean, Steve, what's going on, man? Late show, still off Friday. No, this happened backstage. This happened backstage. This happened. Why is thing not clicking? I'm frozen. I'm frozen a little bit. Hopefully, hold on a second. Let me see if can you guys still hear me? Okay. Okay. I was frozen for a second. Yeah. No, this happened backstage. Like so, a year ago, CM Punk, he had just won the world title from John Moxley, and what they do in AEW, is they do press conferences, right? Like Tony Khan, he'll go to a back area and he'll take questions from the media. And CM Punk was a guest. Obviously he was going to come in and do that, and he'd done it before, and he's in all the time that he'd done it, he sounded like a professional. So what happened this time? He comes in, right, and mind you, there's been when he originally came back from so here's how we're gonna let me try to paint this picture for you, Steven. I'll try to paint it for everybody else. So CM Punk wins the title. Damn, when did he win the title? He originally he won it from Adam Page, right? A couple, probably like I would say, like almost 2 years ago, right? Like I'm trying to think in my head, right? He wins the match, right? And everything seems to be going well. Like we don't know about the backstage drama yet. So he wins the title, and I want to say either his first or second match post winning the title, he breaks his foot. Now he broke his foot, doing a dive to the crowd, which was like like him celebrating with the fans, and he broke his foot during that time. So he had to relinquish the title and had to sit back for a couple months as the foot healed. And during that time, I feel like the drama between him and the Elite really went sideways, right? So when he comes back, he out of nowhere challenges Hangman Page, right? To a match. It was unscripted, not planned, nothing like that. This came out of nowhere and challenged him to a fight. And after that promo, the promo was supposed to be for Moxley, because Moxley was the champion at the time. After he got hurt, Moxley won the title, so they were obviously planning a champion versus champion match for All Out. But the reports were starting to come in from the dirt sheets that the promo that he did on Hangman Page before he called out Moxley was not scripted. And then they reported the issue that he had, and I think it came out that before their match, there was a promo that Hangman did that pissed off Punk, right? And that's gonna be its whole other story. But let me stick to this. So there was a promo that Hangman did that pissed off Punk, and whatever happened between their match and when he came back from the injury really went sideways. So so yeah, so what happened after that? He does like after he beats Moxley, he goes to the back. He's sitting down with Tony, and he decided to go on a rant on Hangman, the EVPs, that the elite, bashing them, bashing Hangman, um, and it was embarrassment. It was an embarrassment to the company. It was the only thing that people talked about. And now, what happened after that? After he leaves, right? Tony Khan, he's there, he's answering questions, whatever. And during that time, there was a fight in the locker room between Punk and Ace Steel, the guy who did the arm biting, and the Elite. And you know, everyone who was involved got got suspended. Now, here's the thing: during the match against Moxley, Punk got hurt again. I think he tore his tricep. So he had won the title, but he got hurt again. You can't see nothing on the screen, Rudolphy. Can you at least hear me? Can you at least hear me? Because the only thing I have right now is the avatar on my only the only thing I have right now is just my avatar. But as long as you can hear me, that's the best thing. But so yeah, so where was I at? All right, so they had the backstage, and he was also hurt. So everyone who was involved in that fight got suspended. But those guys came back, I would say, like a month or so later. Okay. All right, sound check good. All right, thank you, bro. Thank you for watching. So so those guys came back in about a month or so. Punk was delayed because of the injury, and yeah. So he come back from injury, and now he's and like he came back on Collision, which was the show created for him, and then everything else happened after that. So yeah, he like going back to the CM Punk fans. He had everything given to him. He had everything given to him. This is not a situation where he was screwed out of anything. He wasn't screwed out of anything. He wasn't. At the end of the day, he got everything that he wanted from that company, and he could not handle it. And it goes all the way back to a podcast he did with his former friend Cole Cabana. And it's crazy how Cole Cabana is indirectly the reason for all of this. You know what I mean? So let me explain, right? So he quit WWE like 9-10 years ago, right? 8-9 years ago. He quit WWE cold turkey, right? He did a podcast with his friend Cole Cabana at the time, and he aired his grievances. Now I remember this happening on Thanksgiving because I just got out of work, and I heard that and now mind you, after he quit WB, there was radio silence. He didn't say nothing. Didn't say anything. You didn't hear from him. Nothing. He just quit and he went home. And then out of the blue on Thanksgiving, and I remember because I was listening to the podcast. I was riding my bike home at the time, and I was able to download the podcast. Now I was a subscriber to the podcast, but I think someone leaked the audio, and I downloaded the audio. And I listened to it, and he was just going on about his resentment toward WWE and how he got fired and all this other stuff, right? Like it was a crazy podcast, right? And he did that podcast with a guy named Colt Cabana, right? Who's been a wrestler. Those guys trained together, You know, at the time, best of friends, right? Him and A Steel, Colt Cabana, CM Punk, best of friends, right? And been that way for 20 plus years. So what happened after that is after the podcast. Now they did two podcasts. They did the original podcast, which blew up, and then they did a second podcast. I think it was like a week or so later, and what happened with WWE, like what Punk did accuse one of the doctors. I forgot the guy's name, but he accused one of the doctors of malpractice when it comes to his injuries, and the doctor sued. And now, mind you, he sued Punk and Cabana. And now Punk made money. Like Punk had money. Colt Cabana did not. You know what I mean? So like you have to understand the strain, the financial strain that Colt Cabana is dealing with, that his friend wasn't dealing with. Now the rest of this is just hearsay and reports. Now it was reported that Punk had told Cabana that don't worry about it. I got you. And based on one theory that I've heard, that the reason why they're no longer friends is because Cabana went to a WWE show, I guess to talk to some people or whatever, and I guess Punk felt betrayed by that. And now, mind you, CM Punk has major trust issues, right? Stems back from his childhood. He doesn't speak to. I don't think he speaks to any member of his family. Like I think his dad is a alcoholic. His dad may be dead. I have no idea. I know I think he had to sue his mother for his mother. Yeah, something happened with him and his mother, and he doesn't talk to his brother because I guess his brother tried to embezzle him with money or some bullshit like that. So, understandably, CM Punk does have some trust issues, right? And I feel like that was a portrayal of trust between him and Colt Cabana. Now, again, nothing's been reported. All this stuff is hearsay. But that is probably what led to the downfall of their relationship. Now, you fast forward 7 years later, he comes to AEW. Now, the reason why he went to AEW is important because from jump, Tony Khan wanted to sign him. He wanted to sign him from the jump because obviously CM Punk is Tony Khan is a huge fan of CM Punk, massive fan, right? And been trying to get him, trying to get him, and he simply could not, right? The reason why I believe, and I think a lot of people, and Punk even said it himself, the reason why he decided to go to AEW is because when one of their wrestlers had passed away, Brody Lee, when he died, it was like his ailment and everything that he was going on, what was going on around that time. Now, mind you, this happened during COVID when Brody Lee passed away. So when he disappeared, like it was kept a secret. It was kept a secret. No one leaked it. No one knew what the hell was going on with him. Now we come to find out that he had gotten sick, and he was pretty much living in the hospital for probably for 7-8 months before he passed away. And he said that there was that level of trust that the locker room, displayed for not only for Brody Lee's wife but her kids, is what convinced him to sign to AEW. Right now, you come to AEW. Now, mind you, around this time, Colt Cabana is working. It debuted, I would probably say, a couple months before that. So, and the thing is that Colt Cabana is friends with the Elite. He's known the Young Bucks for a long time. I'm sure, and he's a very friendly guy based on everything I've heard about him. Now, CM Punk comes back to AEW, right? And everyone's a big happy family. CM Punk, the company guy, yada yada yada. But here's the thing: there was always an elephant in the room with Cole Cabana. I remember the only time I could remember them being in the same vicinity of each other was when the Dark Order, which Cole Cabana was a part of at the time, came out for their match. You know, he wasn't wrestling, but he came out to support them. And CM Punk was doing commentary. And CM Punk is a great talker, great orator. The guy can talk, right? He didn't say nothing. Not during the match. He commentated the match, but he didn't say nothing about what was going on outside the ring. He completely ignored Cole Cabana. And that's when I knew that their issues were still not settled. It was still not settled. And the problem with the Hangman Page promo, going back to that, was he made a workers' rights comment that apparently pissed off Punk. Now he did the promo that Hangman Page did, he did it to Punk's face. And Punk at the time did not express any type of, he didn't seem angry about it, but clearly it bothered him because what happened was, as obviously Punk is establishing himself, yeah, and all the other stuff, we saw less and less of Cole Cabana. Now, mind you, Cole Cabana is not a superstar. He's just a wrestler. He's just a wrestler. He's just a guy in the roster, probably like lower tier wrestler at this point. But we saw less of him, and I think the prevailing thought from I would probably assume from the elite fans is that the reason why Cole Cabana was not there, and when Tony Khan bought Ring of Honor, he kind of put him in Ring of Honor, was because of CM Punk. Now, when you hear reports about CM Punk not allowing certain guys backstage, kicking certain guys out, dictating what guys do when it comes to like using glass and stuff like that, do I believe him when he said he had nothing to do with Cole Cabana not being there? I have a hard time believing that. Now, maybe Tony Khan was proactive and kind of told Cole Cabana to like stay home or whatever. That obviously was a mistake, because at the end of the day, we know why he did it. Whether it was Punk himself or Tony Khan doing it indirectly, at the end of the day, it lays on the feet of Punk. And I'm sure there are wrestlers in that locker room who are not happy about that. And maybe Adam Page went, not Adam, did I say Adam Page? Dude, I forgot. I keep blanking. Yeah, Adam Page. What I'm thinking of. Yeah, Adam Page. I don't know if he went to business for himself or whatever. And I don't know. But to me, during that time, things should have gotten fixed by Tony Khan. That's when that should have been. That situation should have been nipped in the bud during that time, because obviously it led to the chain events of Punk coming back, throwing the receipt, and now the issue that they have is now being reported to the dirt sheets, and it just led to all this stuff that happened now, and which ultimately led to his firing. Because make no mistake about it, there is no one to blame for CM Punk's firing than CM Punk. Right? Like, I see CM Punk fans up and down my timeline whining and complaining as if he didn't do anything wrong. Like, you can't look, at the end of the day, I always say this. When the same thing is happening to you over and over again, and yet you keep blaming other people, that's a sign of somebody who doesn't get it. That's a sign of somebody who is ignorant to the real issue. When you are the center of all the issues that's going on in that company, even if you are right, even if you are justified in your reasoning, like when you're always in surrounding yourself in drama, at the end of the day, they have to look themselves in the mirror. They have to. And if he truly doesn't trust his employers, in his coworkers, then I mean, then it's time to go. And it doesn't matter what would have happened. Like honestly, if it was up to me, I would try to fix this, immediately. But if I was Tony Khan after All Out 2012, 2022, I would have fired him too. I would have fired him. He came out there, he overshadowed the entire event with his pettiness. You know what I'm saying? Even if he's right, even if he's justifiably right, you can't go out there and trash your coworkers like that. He disrespected his boss, and it was a bad showing on him. Oh, why did Punk hate WWE so much? Also, this is still surprising. He got fired because big stars usually get a pass. He's had passes. He's had passes. Like Tony Khan is a huge fan of CM Punk, and he gave him all the passes in the world, and he still fucked it up. Now, you said why does he hate WWE so much? Because honestly, it's a combination of a lot of things. Like I think he was generally not happy there for a large percentage of his run. You know what I'm saying? Like I think he has resentment towards Vince. He had resentment towards Triple H. Um, I'm sure there's some guys in the back that he doesn't like. And to be fair to him, WWE fired him on his wedding day. And they knew it was his wedding day. They knew. So yeah, but with that, now you mentioned WWE, Steve. Now people are asking the question whether or not he would go back. I mean, first off, they are still in the process of doing this big merger, right? So when they merge, like it's not going to be Vincent Mann's company anymore. It's going to be Endeavor. And Endeavor, they'll gladly resign Punk. Like they don't have no history with Punk. I mean, I think if it was up to Vince McMahon himself, I think he would say no. But I also think that if he had a conversation with Punk and anybody else, I think he would hear him out. Right. So if he does come back, if he does go back, you know, I mean, I guess good for him, I guess. But like, I don't like maybe it may because again, you don't hear a lot of the stuff that you hear around in AEW when it comes to the backstage stuff. You don't hear you won't. I don't think you hear the same thing from WWE. At least not from that perspective, right? But because you could, then people make a big people will be like, oh, WWE is more professional and all that other stuff. That's not. I wouldn't go that far. I would say that because AEW is more of a um, wrestling, wrestling news site, more friendly. Like they'll talk to Meltzer, like those guys, like AEW, like Tony Khan. He's more accessible to that type of media than WWE is. I think Triple H is trying to I think Triple H is more receptive of that type of media, but when it comes to like Meltzer and those guys, I don't think that WWE wants to talk to those guys, and Tony Khan has no problem talking to them, right? But ultimately, like if he has the same mentality to where any little thing makes him upset and makes him upset to the point where he has to put his hands on people, then it's never going to work. It's never ever going to work. And that's the thing. And that's the thing that's Punk fans don't understand. Let me see. Let me read what you said. Champion versus champion. What were the titles? We didn't see title versus title often. You think we need more of that? Oh no. That stuff should be rare. That stuff should be rare. Um, and I think if you're referring to Moxley versus Punk, when Punk got hurt, they did a interim world champion, and Moxley was the interim world champion. So when Punk came back, they did champion versus champion. So in that situation, I don't mind it. I don't mind it, but we don't need to do it all the time. You know what I'm saying? But yeah. So going back to Punk, like and this is going back to his fan base, and that's the thing that they don't understand because they're so busy blaming Jack Perry for insulting him on TV. Well, that doesn't give CM Punk the right to attack him. It doesn't. And I see Raj Giri, he's a guy on Twitter. He's saying, "Oh, you poked the bear and you're surprised that the bear attacked." Well, I mean, yeah, if you poke a bear, he attacked, but if you poke a human being, that doesn't give them the right to attack. Especially if it's not like fucking if you're not literally poking them, right? Because he's talking about always you're talking about the elite or Jack Perry throwing shots at Punk or whatever. All right, words doesn't mean that you just punch somebody in the face or you choke somebody out. If I curse at a bear, he's not gonna attack me because I cursed him out. He's gonna attack me because he's a fucking bear. You know what I'm saying? Like, and you see all these people. They're shitting on the Bucks. They're blaming the Bucks for what happened. They're blaming Jungle Boy for what happened. Look, the only person who got CM Punk fired was CM Punk. That's it. Again, I don't hate CM Punk, but like he's the one that got himself fired. That's just a fact. And I can't feel sorry for a guy who constantly does it to himself. And I get it. Like there's coworkers I work with that I don't like, but I'm not gonna fucking punch them. You know what I'm saying? I really can't even I can't abuse them even if I'm like really really upset with them. I can't just outright go nuts on them because it's gonna make me look bad. It's gonna make me look bad, and it's gonna make the restaurant look bad, and it's not a good look. You know what I mean? People in these Punk defenders, they don't fucking get it. They don't fucking get it. Like at the end of the day, if he's the center of all this drama, then yeah, then at the end of the day, like something has to be done. And will it hurt AEW in the short term? Yeah, absolutely it will. Absolutely it will. But at the end of the day, like, bro, like if someone is too much if someone is too much trouble for what they're worth, then you gotta get rid of them. You have to get rid of them. As much as it sucks, you have to get rid of them because at the end of the day, it's not going to stop there. It's not going to stop there. It's always going to be something else. It's always going to be something else. And that's what happened with people who have issues. Why are they blaming Jungle Boy for? And it seemed like he was saying is that Punk was being more of a bully like Conor McGregor used to be. Okay, so let me explain this again because I know you missed the first couple of minutes of the podcast. Jack Perry apparently it was reported that Perry and Punk had a disagreement on using real glass during either a segment or a match or whatever, right? Jack Perry does his match first, right? Their matches are pretty much next to each other, but Perry's match is in the pre-show and Punk's match is the first match on the pay-per-view. So Jack Perry does a stunt where he gets the car, he pulls out a car, and he obviously meant to put his opponent through the glass, right? Now, before he did that, he slammed on the glass and he said directly to the camera, "Real glass, cry me a river," right? Which is a direct shot at CM Punk. And when he got to the back, CM Punk, approached him, asked him, "Will you have a problem?" And they exchanged words, and then I think Punk is the one that threw the first punch at him. And after he threw the punch, he either lunged at Tony Khan or said some things to Tony Khan, and that's what ended up leading to his firing. Because according to Tony Khan, that CM Punk endangered the lives of people backstage, right? By his actions, which I'm sure is very melodramatic, but if you're going to have, but it's something that he's gonna have to protect himself for any potential lawsuits that come out of this. Because truth be told, if CM Punk is attacking, now mind you, according to reports, Tony Khan saw what happened, and I believe that Tony Khan is either sitting in gorilla position, which is pretty much the position where the wrestlers are at before they go out to the crowd, right? And there's tons of equipment there. And now if you have a guy who's upset and he's lunging at people, he's punching people in that area, there's a lot of equipment there that could fall on people, and that's not a good thing. Whether you could say that he could be overly dramatic. At the end of the day, if there's major equipment there and they're being knocked down, and you have innocent people who get hurt, and if they get hurt, they sue, and now you turn, and the most important thing is that he turned one of the great achievements in the history of the company into another fucking drama filled episode for the company. He embarrassed the company again because he couldn't handle a comment from a youngster, from a young guy. And it's funny because I noticed that a lot of the Punk supporters don't mention this. After a show on Collision, CM Punk got on the microphone and threw jabs at Hangman Page again. And now, and to his credit, he did call and apologize to Hangman Page. But even still, you're doing this bullshit again. You're bringing up drama, and again, I don't mind if you're angling for a match or angling for a program with somebody. I have no problem with doing that. But if you're just throwing shots for the sake of throwing shots, then to me that comes off as corny. And what CM Punk did was corny. But it's funny that this man can come out there and dish it, but when the slightest little things happen to him, he can't take it. And it's like, bro, man, like at the end of the day, like I said before, man, if you want to go off to the sunset, then fine. If you want to go back to WWE, that's fine. But I do believe, and I remember Kevin Nash said this, and I actually do agree with him. At some point, I do think he need to get some help for his issues. He does, because again, and mind you, he's 49. He's almost 50. He's probably set in his ways, but bro, like you gotta handle these situations better. Because at the end of the day, like you handle the situation better. So Steve said that you mentioned earlier a match or promo wasn't scripted. Did they get in trouble for it? I don't know. I don't think so. I now when it comes to what happened earlier, when it came to CM Punk throwing the shade, I don't think he got in trouble for that. And so no, they're not gonna get, unless it's like egregious. I don't think they're gonna get in trouble for it. And going back to this thing, like I think he needs help, man. I think he needs psychological help. And I know CM Punk fans are not gonna like hearing that, but that dude needs help because I think for years, I like I said, I don't know if he's done this or not, but all the years of him, just kind of cutting people off from his life and stuff like that, and this is a lot of people said it. Like I said, when I tell you that people don't like, there's a lot of people who don't like that dude. A lot of people who don't like that dude. So when it comes to if he's setting his ways, then that's fine, man. But I do think he needs some help. I think he needs help. I think he needs to look himself in the mirror and kind of ask yourself why is everything all the bad thing that happened to me? You know what I mean? Why is all this stuff happening to me? All right, so you said that if now wait a second, if someone start talking trash to Punk on camera, that guy started it. Yeah, he probably started it, but that doesn't mean that you get that doesn't mean that you attack them. It doesn't mean that you attack them. Like it doesn't excuse what he did. Now, mind you, this is the same guy who the year prior got into a backstage fight after he aired out dirty laundry about his coworkers. And those coworkers came back and they came back and words were exchanged and they got into a fight. So it's funny that when he can go out there in a media scrum and completely trash his coworkers, yeah, not everything's fine, but yet a guy makes one comment to him, you know, makes one comment to him, and then he flips out on him. That's hypocrisy. Like I said before, dude can take it, dude can dish it, but he can't take it. That's just a fact. And I mean, it is what it is at the end of the day. It don't bother me one bit. Like at the end of the day, yeah, will it hurt AEW in the short term? Yeah, but as long as they can continue doing the thing that they're doing, I'm hearing reports that maybe Edge might go to AEW. You never know. You never know. But at the end of the day, the only person who has to look himself in the mirror after all this is Punk himself. And CM Punk fans don't want to hear it, but that's a fact. Like you guys can dig your heads into the sand all you want. At the end of the day, he's the one that he's not a victim. He's not a victim. He did it to himself. He did it to himself. And I can't I can't feel bad for him. I mean, I can't lament the fact that he's not going to be in AEW anymore because, like I said, AEW talent wise, they'll be fine as long Collision is the same format, and as long as they have a guy like Brian Danielson at the helm, they'll be just fine. Will they get the same numbers without Punk? Probably, maybe not. We never know. But at the end of the day, this is not doom and gloom for the company. It's not. It's not. And like I said, if Punk wants to continue wrestling again and doing his thing, good luck to him. But if he has this mindset in AEW and he thinks that shit's gonna fly in WWE, he has another thing coming. He has another thing coming because, like I said, I don't think it's going to work if he goes back. Yeah, sure, they'll make money. Punk coming back to WWE, it'll definitely do well. But if he thinks that he's gonna change the system over there overnight, nah, you got another thing coming, bro. But it is what it is. So if you're out there, Steve, if you have anything else to say to me, let me know before I head out. Actually, let me check on let me check on on NBA 2K. Let me see if this thing is fucking done. Installing. Oh god, 36 minutes left. Well, I'm not gonna be here for 36 minutes. So I'm just gonna like fucking lay down or something. So unless you guys have anything else for me to say, I could be out. Let me see. Let me see. Let me check. Let me check some stuff real quick. Hmm. Let's see. Hey, Mortal Kombat's coming out in a couple months, so I'm looking forward to that. And not a couple months, couple, like a week or so. Definitely looking forward to that. All right, so you said you would fire him too. Don't you think a few suspensions be better first? Yeah, they all got suspended, but what Punk did, he embarrassed the company. And I don't think he's causing drama for the sake of causing drama. Um the first time I would agree with you. The second time, absolutely he did. Absolutely he did. The first time you could say it was a combination of bad communication, a situation that let me get some water. I'm fucking I'm oh god. Let me get some water. I'll be right back. Hold on. Okay. Okay, I think I'm back. Yeah, I'm back. Yeah, man. Like without doing this by myself, like it's a lot tougher now doing these by myself. Normally, I have Steve going on about his crap, but it rests my voice. But yeah, going back to you, Steve. The first time, I would say it was a combination of bad communication and just unfortunate circumstances. But he was absolutely in the wrong. He absolutely was still in the wrong. Now, would I go as far to say fire him? Maybe I would take that back a little bit. Definitely be suspended. He would definitely get the harsher suspension because he aired out the laundry in public, and he embarrassed the company while doing that. So he would have gotten a much longer suspension than the other guys. But the first time, I can see what you're saying. The second time, that was all him. The second time was all him. So I have no sympathy for that. Speaking of 2K, why did you decide to buy it? I thought you didn't care for 2K and Madden. Well, I don't care for Madden, but 2K, I've always like when it comes to 2K games, like I've been playing 2K since I think the first 2K game I played was 2K6, and the last one I bought was 2K21. So I do play 2K. It is that the 2K game can vary from being very good to very bad. Like 2K23, I hated 2K23. Did not like it. The shooting mechanics were off in that game. Like imagine I'm Damian Lillard, right? And not only can I not hit threes in that game, and you know what else bothers me about 2K23? I have to get a perfect release just so I can pray that the shot goes in. And there are times when, cause here's the thing, right? Obviously, when it comes to basketball, you shoot the three. I don't mind missing threes, right? It when I miss open threes when I don't have perfect, but I it's a perfect meter. Not perfect, but it's a near perfect meter. And I completely miss. Right? And it's like what the fuck is going on? I have to get a near perfect just to hit a three. And with Damian Lillard, and I was using the Trailblazers. I can't I can't hit a three with Damian Lillard, and I can't even shoot free throw with Dame. I'm like, these shot mechanics are broken. They're completely broken. And I was like, man, fuck this game. So when I found out, the only reason why I bought 2K24 was because of the pro play trailer. Video game lover, what's going on, bro? How you doing? I think I'm frozen for a second. Can you guys hear me? Yeah, you guys can hear me. Yeah, my mouse is not moving. Whoa, what's going on? Hold on a second. Give me 1 second. I think my computer's acting dumb. Where's my mouse at? Okay. Oh crap! Now my mouse is not moving because I think I have. Okay. Oh crap! I have water on my mouse pad, and that's fucking it up. Oh man, should have get this shit done. Okay, I'm good. Yeah, so you are doing good. You just finished streaming. Oh my god! Now my mouse is still fucking up. All right, but okay, so all right, so just finished streaming. All right, so I'll check that out later. Traditionalist, you said that last thing you still playing AEW. You're still playing AEW game, yeah. Do I think they'll ever sign Punk again? I lean towards no. I'm going. Me personally, I say no. I don't think they'll resign him. Yeah, I don't think they'll resign him. I think this was bound to happen. Everything that happened when it comes to it was bound to happen. And and for the sake of not only for Punk but for AEW in general, I think it would be better for them to part ways. Because at the end of the day, if you can't trust your employers, if you can't trust your coworkers, then there's no reason for you to be there anymore. You know what I mean? Good or bad. If it's not something that you're comfortable with, then then it's best to walk away. It's best to walk away. So on that note, let me get out of here, man. Video game lover, thank you for watching. Steve, thank you for watching. Rodolphe, thank you for watching. And I think that's about it. Yeah, I'll say that's about it. Unless you guys have anything else to say or ask me, say it now or forever hold your peace. Where are we at? Where are we at with this game? Installation. 27 minutes. This thing is fucking almost 100 gigabytes of memory. Thankfully, I got the thankfully I got the SSD, and I'm gonna be packing it. I'm gonna be packing it heavy over the next couple months, man. I tell you, I be lurking, right? Yeah, bro. You got be in the shadows. I got you, Rodolphe. Be in the shadows. Yeah, man. So like with Mortal Kombat 1, Tekken 8, Spider-Man 2. Yeah, we're gonna be doing some gaming around here, man. I'm happy, man. I am happy. But on that note, let me get out of here. All right, peeps. Have a good night. See you guys later.